Good evening, class, and welcome to Human Resources 395. It's a class on basically compensation. My name is Kevin Matthews, and I'll be your instructor for the next few weeks as we go through this topic together. I'm pretty much going to just start off by today, first of all, just doing an introduction. I mean, you can go and you can download my bio, and you can do a lot of different things to figure out who I am. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I'm active on Facebook. I probably won't add a whole lot of you to my Facebook account. I tend to use Facebook for a lot of my for my friends that I've met over the years. And so if you want to find out more about me, a very quick way to do that, of course, is to go visit my LinkedIn profile. You'll probably see more information there than you ever would care to know about a person and my background. And I kind of throw that out there because one of the things about my background is that it's sort of unique. I didn't start off as a human resources person, and if you had told me when I was younger that I was going to end up with, even having anything to do with human resources, probably would have told you you're probably crazy. And the only reason why I say that is that I started off in the restaurant industry, worked for about 9 to 10 years, put myself through college, and then I went off and I taught English in Japan for 2 years, which was a very exciting time. I learned the language while I was over there, and I learned my appreciation of the Asian culture and various aspects of it. And it's been a very very useful part of my life. When I came back from Japan, went back to graduate school, and halfway through graduate school is when 9/11 happened, and that's when I decided I was going to forego going into the business world and go into the military to do a bit for king and country. Served 8.5 years there. One of the things that I would say, and I got most out of it, is that that's where I really started becoming sort of on this track to do human resources management. I went into the military with an accounting master's degree, and of course I showed up and they said, "Oh, great, you understand business. Oh, we're going to put you in human resources." Probably with not much of a concept that there was a major difference between accounting and human resources. But I, like most other good naval officers, I just said, "Okay, yes, sir," and whatever you need me to do, I'll go ahead and I'll do it. And it turned out to be one of the most rewarding things that I had done. I really enjoy people, and everything that I do in my life, whether it's human resources, accounting, or whatever, you have to interact with people, and if you can't interact with people, I guarantee you're not going to be very successful anyways. So this was sort of an area that I felt, wow, this is something I really enjoy and I really like doing. I ended up taking the Human Resources Certification, the PHR. If you haven't decided to do that yet, I would actually encourage you to do that. Whether it's the PHR, the SPHR, or the SHRM CP, or the SHRM SCP, or their California equivalents if you're going to live out in the California area. I really recommend those because it's very difficult to imagine going all the way through one's life without and being really successful without having a obviously you're going to need your degree, which is why you're here, but then also you need something a little bit beyond that kind of shows that extra energy, and the certifications can do that because not only does it show that you have the knowledge, but obviously you've applied the knowledge at some point, because they do a thorough investigation of your background when they determine whether you qualify for the certification or not. And in addition to that, a very active role in the SHRM, the Social Society for Human Resource Management, I think is very phenomenally important. But enough of that. So then after I spent time in the United States Navy, I got out in 2011, and I had a really big decision on my plate to make. Did I want to go back to accounting, or did I want to do human resources? And I ended up going back to accounting, but I also enrolled myself in the doctoral program, which covers human resources development, human resource HRD. If when you get your master's degree, you'll learn a lot more about that. But everything that I've done since then, even though I went back into accounting, there was always kind of this tug back to human resources for whatever reason. Whether they asked me to do recruiting, because I had recruiting experience from the Navy, or whether they asked me to do certain human resources style projects because I just had the knowledge. But it actually it was very interesting because it ended up where I ended up sort of merging the accounting world, because I do mostly taxes, and along with the human resources section for compensation, which is why this is one of my favorite classes. If you do not get that from me, either A, you're not paying attention, or B, I'm not communicating enough. And that's kind of why I'm doing these videos here, because when we get in the online environment, there's such a pressure to just get the work done, and we don't really actually get to know each other as well as I would like to. So that's kind of why we did what we did with this. So I'm just going to go over a few things, some kind of classroom stuff for this week. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. We'll talk a little bit about that later on. Actually, let's do that now. So when we're talking about the discussions, and I'm going to kind of jump into the discussions, get through the README first. I mean, if you've been taking classes here at University of Maryland, University College, you kind of know the README first part. And get past all that, you're going to see the Ask a Professor the question. Now, if you want your the question to your answer timely, my personal recommendation is not to use this. Contact me through email or contact me through my phone number. Both of those are on online through the Leo. I'm not going to obviously say them in this video because God knows who's going to watch this afterwards. But contact me directly. Look, I am a CPA, but I also own my own business. So that means I have a little bit more flexibility to doing certain things than, say, if I was just working for somebody else. So I don't teach, you hear the old adage, I don't teach for the money. We teach because we're passionate about our topics, and we really want to help people achieve the best that they can be. I'm a very blessed individual. I started off with lower middle class family, and I'm doing pretty darn well compared to where I started off in life. And that I just want to pay it forward. So that's one of the main reasons why I do what I do. But there's still a responsibility on you that I can't read your mind. So if you have an issue, you need to reach out to me. Okay. You can do the ask the professor, question ask the professor. Probably not going to get an answer very quickly. If you want to do a question that's kind of, say, I think everybody else is asking the same thing, I just want to show that to everybody else, then everybody else can add to it, and I'll kind of go, okay, fine, I need to answer this. Feel free to do that. That's perfectly your right to do that. But if you want it fast, come back to that, and then I'll either address it in this video series. I'll be very happy to bring that up. And hey, I'll even give you credit for it if it's a brilliant idea. Just, be cognizant of the fact that if it's a timely issue, send me an email. Okay. The first week discussion, typical of most UMC classes, if you've taken them, the first week discussion is always hi, this is who I am. I always love these. Here's the thing. I know you guys are probably sick and tired of doing these. I love them. I really love reading them, because when I do these online classes, I don't know who you are from anybody else. But if I get to see you and what you put into these posts, they're just phenomenal. There's been some times where I'm grading somebody's paper and I'm like, who is this person? And I go back and I look at it and I'm like, wow. Now I understand why they're approaching this topic with such a level of passion into this. That's just phenomenal. It's a very good example. I get a lot of military people in this class, and they're always talking about their organizations and how they feel that their organization can improve because of the way compensation management could be done. The problem with the military as well It's all based on rank and time. I mean, it doesn't matter if there's no monetary bonuses for good performance. Unless you do like a re-enlistment bonus that just says, hey, we still want you to stick around. Here's $20,000 to stick around. So there's, so there are people who get into that and they're very passionate about what they do. And it just sort of shows. And sometimes I'm kind of like, what is this? Here's the thing: if you're really passionate about something, and I go back to your background, and I notice you're not doing it, I might reach out to you and say, hey, is this something you really want to do? Because if it is, I might know somebody in another industry who could use somebody like you. I am a type of person who, if I can pay it forward, I always will. So many people have helped me get to where I am today. And I feel that I really want to bring that forward to my students, which sometimes I don't even view you guys as students. I see you as traveling colleagues, just trying to learn more about this. I've learned so much about compensation, first in my own experience, and then later on when I talk to other people about compensation because of this class or because of getting ready for a portion of this class. It's so much learning that I get to do. I want to work with you guys to make sure that your learning experience is just as phenomenal. So after you get done with the so there's going to be, you have your introduction that you have to do, and then you have discussion 1, which, it says, after reviewing all the materials, share on your own words, the meaning and the concept of total rewards. All right, total rewards is sort of the big buzzword today. And I'm trying to think of some of the buzzwords I'm blowing them on my brain right now. But there's synergy. Synergy is one of my favorite buzzwords lately. Everybody said, oh, let's get together and find out if we have synergy together. Okay, total compensation though is really an important word, and it identifies a certain concept because back in the good old days, payroll departments were pretty much what human resources was. It's where you went to go get paid, right? You showed up, you got your money, and you left. And if you're lucky, you were a member of a union, and as a result of being a member of a union, you might have had some additional benefits that you might not have had. Because back in the the 1920s, 1930s, if you didn't have a union, you pretty much didn't have anybody arguing for you. Now we've gotten so sophisticated in the way that we compensate people. We don't talk about it too much in this class, but stock options is a very good example. As a tax accountant, I run into stock options all the time. I have a lot of my clients that they didn't think they needed a CPA until they got all of a sudden they get stock options. They're like, what do I do with these things? And I'm kind of like, well, so it almost seems like it's a pain from that perspective. But the good news is that some people say, no, I stuck around with this company for as long as I did. I put up with a lot of stuff that I had to put up with, because I knew I had these stock options. I needed them to vest, and now that they've vested, I might be out of here. Or later on, the management comes up and says, "Hey, no, we're going to offer you, a few thousand shares additional if you stick around." So it's additional compensation. It's also good ways to make money. But how does that motivate people? There might be people who do stick around solely because of the stock options. Then the other question is that really a good thing? I think that it depends on what management wants. There are some people who, if they're working against their will, they're not going to be very motivated. So you got to find ways to motivate them. And sometimes compensation can be the ways to do it. Sometimes benefits can be the way to do it. One of the things that you'll notice when it comes to total rewards, you might, a lot of the literature doesn't really talk as much about it as it used to. It used to talk about, compensation leaders, compensation laggers, and then they have benefits leaders, benefits laggers. And the way that, I thought it was funny, with my small business, I'm a benefits leader and a compensation lagger. And people go, wow, you admit that you're a compensation lagger? I said, yeah, I do. Because I want people to understand that if you want to make big bucks, you're going to need to go somewhere else. But if you want to be taken care of, and if you want to stick around because because you enjoy working with me, and at the same time you enjoy working for getting the benefits that the company offers, I'm here for you. There's people that all they want to die rich, and I'm kind of like, well, yeah, you don't get to really take that with you. And the goal of the company really is to bring in multi-talented individuals in order to succeed. And you know, it kind of gets, you know, so when we're talking about total rewards though, compensation lagger and a benefits leader is a total rewards package. I'll blow your socks off when it comes to your health insurance, your 401k matching or whatever, but I will not, and I mean I will not blow your socks off when it comes to your salary that's coming home. And you know, so it's you know, the people that I've talked to that have talked about wanting to come work with me, they're okay with it. What motivates people is always a wide variety. You know, there's some people that they say, you know, I've worked for the big wigs for a long time. I want to work for a smaller guy, and I'll take a pay cut, but I want somebody who takes care of me. So you're going to talk a little bit about the meaning of total rewards and how it differs from traditional approach to compensation. I won't get too much more into that. I think I've already spilled a lot of beans on that, and so feel free to comment on that if that's how you want to do it. And talks about, for discussion 2, give an example of each of the following: demographic shifts, globalization, technology, competitive forces, share what you've discovered, and the impact of total rewards, and don't forget to use in-text citations. Here's the thing. I've seen people who do bullet points on this, and that's great. You'll hit all the points, but I think, you know, some of the best posts I've seen in this with the discussion 2 is they'll take bullet points and they'll just kind of do the minimum definitions on each one. And then on top of that, they'll go ahead and they'll get passionate about one of the topics, you know, globalization. I mean, I'm a big globalist in terms of, you know, I do international accounting, and international tax accounting is actually an area that I specialize in. And so, you know, there's some people that, you know, if I talk about globalization, I can make this into a 10-hour video if I wanted to with globalization conversations. So don't worry, I won't. But that's something that we could do. You know, so go ahead and feel free to elaborate on one of them and all that, and so on and so forth. So, discussion number 3. Demonstrate the critical link of strategic objectives to rewards by giving an example from either the organization where you work or the one that you know. Something you're going to learn about this class, you're going to be referencing your own workplace. Okay. Now, it's not to rag on your workplace, not to talk about how your workplace is the worst place in the plant to work. Believe it or not, we all don't want to know. We probably all are not 100% happy with everything that goes on in our organizations either. Try to take this opportunity to examine and critically think about it. You know, there's going to be some times where some people have gone through their lives and they go, you know, I just kind of come in, I get my paycheck, I go home, I'm happy. You know, that's it. That's all I need. But then as you start critically thinking about it, you're like, well, why do they pay me like that? Why do they offer these types of benefits? Why is this benefit offered and that one's not? You know, very good example. Beta Solutions does offer free gym memberships. Why do we do that? Is that done because I simply want, you know, fit and healthy people working for me? Yes and no. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. If you haven't noticed, if this isn't a shock to you by watching this video, I am not the king of fitness. Okay, but something that I do know is that, you know, with accountants who sit in their desks for you know sometimes up to 12 hours with very minimal up and walking around because we're sitting down cranking out tax returns, it's unhealthy. And so, you know, I want my employees to be able to go to the gym and have that opportunity to use the gym membership in order to be able to do that. So that's kind of what we're going to be looking at from that perspective of demonstrate the, you know, the critical link of strategic objectives to rewards given by the example. So go back to it, examine why, and think, how does that link? Okay. If you have any questions, feel free. I'm going to cut this off and we're going to go to a second video that you're going to be able to watch. I know 20 minutes is a bit much for one chunk, but I'm going to chunk this up and then we're going to talk about some other things. Okay.